Well, that victory over Brussel's only the second match he's ever won in the Champion of Champions. And the last was back in 2014, although this is his first appearance here for 5 years. Milkins making his second in a row, but was beaten in round one last year by O'Sullivan.
Crunching long pot there. Keeble did a lot of manoeuvring to get to where it is. Good job the red went in, because the balls would have been flying everywhere. Yeah, I mean, these two have beaten the world champions. 3 times champion Mark Williams was the man that Rob beat, and of course the Hawk, well, he completely dismantled Luca Brissell earlier, as Dave pointed out. It was an extremely impressive performance.
Rob Milkins, 1.
I suppose the problem that Barry's got is he's got to follow that performance up. You back it up later in the same day. And the game's never been so easy that it's automatic that he will play anywhere near that level. Just don't know.
Yes, and I think that's why he himself sort of played down what happened earlier on. He didn't come in sort of buzzing, talking about his best ever performance, because he's got another job to do this evening. And as he said himself, certainly the top of the game, any of the players here could produce that sort of display. Milkins has struggled in ranking events this season, but actually he did get to the quarterfinals in Shanghai, a big money invitation event, which obviously was top players. He beat Sean Murphy in that. So maybe in this environment, he might just come to life.
Well, I don't think he expected that. Keeble was always going towards the black, but the red was the side cushion, but for those 2 little nicks off the other 2 reds.
One.
Well, there's a yellow pot, although it would be an extremely acute angle from there. Yeah, I think the red's in the way anyway.
Foul. Robert Milkins, 1. Barry Hawkins, 4.
If the red was in the way of the yellow, the red must pass the yellow. So he's been gifted this chance, Barry. Be interesting to see how he does play. I mean, he could easily play well again. He's clearly very confident. He's had a very good season. He looks match sharp. All of the things perhaps other players are not necessarily, who haven't been winning. But luck plays a
Shot.
part, and both
Barry
players have
Hawkins 1.
given away
Robert Milkins
points when they've
5.
been in. The in-off and now this. You can't really foresee this red being potted there.
1.
Very interesting that Barry Hawkins said that Rob Milkins is one of his favourite players to watch. A few people have said that about
6.
this man at the table. I mean, he does sort of...
7.
He's a very busy player. He's quick. He doesn't hit balls very hard, you know. He strokes them in, and despite the fact that he's not a young player, he's seemingly still improving, I guess. Or he's certainly playing his best snooker the last couple of years.
$12.
No, I mean, his career trajectory's been very interesting. He had a lot of potential,
Thanks.
certainly when he started out. I think a lot of people thought he would sort of hit the heights. He had his moments, but it didn't quite happen. It looked like it wouldn't happen until Gibraltar back in 2022 when from, well, the real doldrums in the rankings, he won that event. And then, of course, the Welsh Open last season, plus the bonus prize, 150,000. Extraordinary.
$21. Robert Milkins 21.
I said he doesn't hit them very hard. He overhit that one. Maybe he lost his accuracy as a consequence. I mean, the ball's absolutely flown everywhere. The red gone over the top of the brown could make things a little awkward further down the line in this frame. It's an odd beginning to a match, this.
One.
It looks to me as if the brown, unless he can play the double kiss, looks out of bounds. I suppose if you can win the frame before those two balls come into play, all well and good, but I'm not sure Barry Hawkins will be able to. So it just kind of becomes a bit of a tricky old frame. I don't know, what did he say, re-rack or something there? It might be something further down the line that causes a bit of a stalemate. Those two balls up in the top right corner. Scruffy old frame, this first one, not like their previous matches. Chance to play the double. And we've checked to see that the red doesn't pot past the pink to the right middle. So if you played the double, he wouldn't leave it, that red.
Barry
Might
Hawkins
be in
6.
some kind of a snooker or tricky situation, though. I'm sure he can get the snook on all of the reds. They have to be very tight behind this. Yeah, the red on the left he couldn't do anything about. Has he left the red to the middle? Thinnest of snicks. There's your answer. He can't get through to it. Strange old situation, this, isn't it? I mean, what he's playing to reach a red, but it looks like he'll leave Milkins a pot of some description, even if he does get this shot half right. In the red, to the left corner by the pink. Can he even put the one he's closest to? I suppose all these frames count, don't they? In the same way he might get a century break in frame one, as we saw with Hawkins earlier.
1.
Yeah, I mean, Luca Brissell had one shot in that frame. Took on a long red, that was it. This is a very different start.
That's a very nice shot, that really is. It was a thin contact
6.
pot. The table is like lightning, and he kept it all under control.
Seven.
I'm afraid that one is not so good. Meant to just get past the pink. He played on the black. Now it will be Milkins' turn to play a double. Hawkins failed at his
13.
attempt earlier.
Robert Milkins, 13.
It's kind of helped matters a tiny bit. I think if a red was potted, the brown now could also be taken. Whereas it couldn't go before. There was no way of potting it, red where it was. Goodness, it was dangerous playing it like that. He didn't know he'd get the snooker on the red.
Touching ball.
Just play away because he's got touching ball. He hasn't got to hit another red. Deemed to have already hit one. unconventional frame, isn't it? This first one of the evening.
Well, there'll be a bit of mileage in this frame yet. The green's gone towards those reds by the brown as well.
Foul. No
Well, he
mess.
sort of got up
Barry
and started
Hawkins,
walking
4.
away from the shot before it even reached the red. I thought he must have played it well and he was pleased with it.
So, cue ball replaced by referee Deshislava Boshalova. Milkins is a fascinating character to watch in the arena. He's always had this sort of great presence.
It was slightly in the middle.
And of course, when he's playing well, the speed that he plays
Maybe left or right.
just looks sensational. But this is a very different frame, more tactical. Just sort of discussing where the white was. Neither of these two came into this match hoping the frame would go like this, but of course now it has. It's a test of patience and discipline, and a good frame to win as well, particularly for Hawkins, who's been behind most of the time.
Well, that's pretty good. There might be a route through to the top red. Not sure how this is all going to be resolved, to be honest. I mean, that pocket is completely locked out. I think there's a few mutterings in and around the arena that it might be a re-rack here, but clearly Milkins doesn't want that. You know, 26 points is not something you just want to throw away. See, a referee can get involved. It's not quite at that stage yet, I don't think. I mean, obviously, if you do rack the balls up, the scores don't count that are on the board right now. You start from absolutely square one again.
I think what Hawkins needs to guard against is giving away any foul points, because at the moment Milkins would need one of the two safe reds, but a foul and 2 reds, 2 blacks, it'd be enough. Well, he won't be potting that one. Barry Hawkins has doubled it.
Well, he'd love to be able to pot this brown ball. I think that could just change the whole course of how the frame is going. Double into the corner pocket. Can he pot this? He's going to try. And of course, the referee, Desislava, is standing over the pocket because she needs to be able to see very close up. I mean, in your local league years ago, you just hit that 1,000 miles an hour, so no one knew what got hit first. Not sure you get away with it here.
No, not with all our replay machines and slow-mos.
Well, he's decided against it, which doesn't really solve anything. It wasn't quite right. I mean, he could have probably potted the brown, but he had no idea where anything was going to finish. So, Milkins very much with the advantage, but the problem hasn't ever really gone away. If you can get onto the brown, then maybe you can win the frame here. Anything else won't do it.
1. Brown ball.
There's Desi again, hovering. I mean, the referee's the directive is to stand behind the shot, but clearly in this instance she has to be on the scene. She's definitely that.
Foul. Robert Milkins 1. Barry Hawkins 4.
For all that.
Well, it was thin, but 22 behind as he goes back to his seat. May not expect to be getting out of it again.
Well, I don't know if Luca is on his way back to Belgium in the car tonight, but if he doesn't really want to watch this frame because there's been more mistakes in this frame by a mile than there was in this entire match.
1.
But it's still got to be won, this frame, and pink to red is the way that it's going to be won. Just wants one more pot.
7. 8.
Well, it takes all sorts. It's not always going to be centuries, of course. Ice break in this frame so far, 21. So 2 snookers required as it stands.
10.
Yes, and he'll
Robert
carry
Milkins,
on.
10.
He has to. I mean, he might pot yellow, green and brown and try and get one 5-point penalty foul on the blue. That might be his route. Currently it's 2 snookers, but on the blue, pink and black, 1. So could be what he tries. Deciding that he would try and get both snookers. Can think of players who would have taken it down to the high value colours there to try and get one. Anyhow. I think there's room round the back of this to possibly skip past it if he's not careful. He's played it slowly anyway. It helps matters. Still has gone round it though, as we
Barry
said.
Hawkins 4.
Now, one more snooker. It's the frame that sort of almost refuses to end. It's only been going 26 odd minutes, but it's been an oddity of a frame.
Two.
Well, and it's not quite right, but surely you can push the green up towards the blue and get one on the brown still. Yeah, that's what he's tried. I mean, it may not look a difficult
Barry
snooker,
Hawkins
but you
two.
can
Please put your
comfortably
phones
go
on
past
silent.
these. Sometimes like a 1 cushion escape is more difficult than 2 or 3 cushions. You might try and go of 2. Yeah. Awkward. Going with left-hand side. Difficult shot to get right. Oh,
Foul. Barry
it's on its
Hawkins
way to
5.
hitting the green, but the blue was in the way, so all of a sudden, game's live again.
Yes, and it didn't take Hawkins long, did it, to get these penalty points? 21 in it now, with 25 on. Well, he got a pretty good cue ball, but it is potable, this green.
Three. Seven.
Good brown as well, but it's not getting any easier. But he looked certain to lose this frame just a few minutes ago.
Well,
Very bad news for Milkins is that the pink comfortably goes past the black. It's certainly a good frame to win for Barry Hawkins, but a
18.
pretty horrible frame to lose if you're Rob Milkins. 2 snookers, it's going to hurt.
Well, he started against Luca Bassett with a total clearance. He started tonight by stealing this frame, having needed 2 snookers. It was a 32-minute epic. It's gone to the Hawk, who leads 1-0. Hawkins' mood as he was sitting waiting for the balls to be set up, because that frame was a long one and he looked like he was going to win it, and Barry Hawkins laid 2 snookers and stole it. So the Milkman's got to pick himself up for frame 2. Good clearance, though, from Hawkins. Starting with the green. You know, there were missable pots there, but that was a reminder of how well he has played so far today here in Bolton.
one. Barry Hawkins, 1.
It's bad enough to lose any frame where your opponent needs 2 snookers, but the first frame of a match is putting you certainly on the wrong foot. Very defensive mode it would send you, perhaps.
1. Three. 4.
This time, wrong side of the blue, so green away from his spot. He could run the cue ball across the green spot and around, or he could go between brown and yellow. Yep, that's what he's done. If you could get an angle on the blue, maybe you could go into the pink and black and bring
9.
those into play, because they're obviously no help to him where they are.
Barry Hawkins,
Well, it
9.
seems he was sort of thinking so much about the angle he was going to leave himself on the blue, he just slightly took his eye off the pot here. You'd see him working out how he wanted them to split. Oh, but, well, it seems to be a hangover from the first frame, that.
He's playing a lot of shots almost on the walk, isn't he? Back to his chair. He's quickly away from it and given up on it. He's partway back to his chair. The body language is not great for Milkins right now.
1.
It's not everything, but in this game, it's something we do go on when we're watching some of these matches. Just a player that doesn't look very comfortable sitting in the chair, going through the agonies a little bit. This game can throw up.
Three.
Well, he
4.
certainly got hold of that one. Again, he was looking for that angle on the blue, and it's a very wide angle now. But he probably would like to be able to pop this and screw into the pink, bring high value colours and reds into play. Just not the perfect way of doing it from there. The pot, of course, could be missed. Trying too much sometimes.
Barry Hawkins, 4.
think Milkins has dropped his chalk or something. Looking around on the floor. Well, maybe not, because it's in his hand now. Bit of a test for him at the moment. We've lost that lengthy opening frame and missed a couple already in this one.
Well, we've played it really well because when you see two bolt colours close together, you always feel there's a good area to get your safety shots in that kind of zone. Playing those sort of shots well, all those little tip-tap shots into the bunch. I've seen pretty open and free-flowing snooker all day, but this frame and a half has not been like that.
One.
He seems certainly aware of it. It was an odd plant, really. It was two balls onto the edge of another one. So it was kind of well worked.
Four. Five.
So
11.
pink on the black spot, starting to look a little bit more conventional now, this frame.
Yeah, I'm
12.
sure he must have played the cannon there on that red out on the left, because that would have been perfect for the be on the black to the middle. It's quite a surprising missed cannon there. Recovered it pretty well.
$15. Barry Hawkins, 15.
Well, it's still relatively early, but there you can see they're both at just 75% on the pot of success, which you wouldn't expect for two players who already won a match today here.
There was an example, though, of the ball's not running. And yes, it was a surprising miss, but it went unpunished. You know, the ball's just landed safely again. And here is certainly a half chance. It's a shame for Rob that pink doesn't pot into the left corner. The red's in the way, because it would be a natural play on the pink. So he's looking at which red he can take, but with the colour close at hand. So he's playing slightly the more difficult red of the two.
One.
That's annoying. That's annoying. Just when he was trying to pot a good ball and get started, he's still not on anything high value.
Yellow ball. Robert Milkins, 1.
Well, he's got everything into play, but it's not the best cue ball. He caught them a bit thick. Milkins just going through the mill a little bit here, especially if Hawkins can knock this in. He's already 28 in front.
One.
Yeah, so he'll be concerned now for sure. You can see he's having a slight mutter to himself.
Well, that's the nature of snooker. You know, you go out, you know, people have paid money to watch a good evening of snooker, and of course it may end up an absolutely brilliant game, but it's not been much at the moment. Bit of a damp squib, and it's the next best thing to that is to just win the match.
8.
Right now, it's an odd start, but Hawkins, having won that first frame, he will take a lot more from the evening so far. Could be he's about to take the first 2 frames.
9.
Well, with the lead he's got, he doesn't need the awkward reds on the left-hand side. These two will do.
14. 15.
So, of course, when you pop this, the
21.
remaining goes down by 8 points. So, frame ball coming.
Twenty-two. $28. $29. $31.
Obviously, it helped massively that he won the first frame, but in general, he's less bothered about the
32.
fact he's not playing as well as earlier. Milkins clearly is concerned about his own game, and he's just struggling now to make an impact on this match, having had that first frame stolen from him.
$35. $37. $40.
Well, are we 51 minutes in by now? He virtually won the match against Brissell. But it's not always going to be like that. Sometimes you have to roll up your sleeves and get on with it,
44.
if you have any sleeves.
Yeah, good point. I do think that you can play yourself into a bit of form, though. You know, you can't just come out and knock everything in like he did earlier. That was
49.
not how it usually works. So here he's had to go through a few awkward frames. Ball's running not very well, and now he's
55.
looking fine again.
Yeah, he's
And
just
the frame
toughed his
by
way through.
Hawkins.
That's an easily the highest break of the night, that 55. Barry Hawkins very much on top here. Milkins struggling. It's 2-0. Barry
Thank you.
Hawkins and Robert Milkins,
third
and it's
frame.
Hawkins 2-0 up
Barry
here. Best
Hawkins
of
to break.
11 for a place in the semi-finals. He stole the first, having needed 2 snookers, dominated the second, made 55 in the end. Milkins' highest break so far just 21. Well, Milkins sort of opened the shoulders there, had a full-blooded attempt at that red, but it wasn't easy by any means and didn't go in. Just trying to make something happen. Whereas Hawkins, you kind of know he's going to stay cool and calm. That's his way. He was like that after he beat Brissell in the interview. You know, he had every right to get carried away. He didn't. Played it all down.
That's a very nice safety shot there for Milkins. It's probably his best. Just the thin contact that he required, sending the cue ball into a very safe area. And sometimes, if you can't get any inspiration from pots, you know, a good safety shot which could create something just might bring him to life. Seemed to just leap up into the air as if either the ball had rolled off or he totally mishit it. Clearly that was not part of the plan. He seemed to be up off the shot very quickly, as if something had gone horribly wrong. Which it had.
One.
So, this is Milkins' probably best scoring chance of the whole evening, actually, because the balls were awkward first frame, didn't get in the second. Let's see how many he makes here. It will tell us a lot, I think, about how he's feeling.
Six. Seven.
I think the area where he pointed the cue there, he could put the cue ball somewhere there and beyond that black to the right corner and maybe get the other red into play next to it, but he's got to find that area from his next red. I don't think he's got an ideal angle on this red to finish there.
12.
Well, naturally the cue ball with a stun shot is coming towards the black and the red. Might be able to avoid it with topspin. Well, he's played well to finish there.
30.
Very close up to the black ball. So I think that's okay.
20. $21.
Better shot than it looked as well. King over a ball has to take advantage of this opportunity.
$28. $29. $36.
I think the 5 reds in the bunch, the 2 on the right, he's looking to see if they are in line for a plant.
$37. $44. $45. Robert Milkins, 45.
Oh, he's just holding, isn't he? Trying to roll it in, hold. Naturally, the cue ball is coming away from the reds at normal speed. And if you're going to miss these, you're going to hit too much of the black very often. Because in the back of the mind, you are trying to hold, not let the cue ball release to bulk. Now the plant, bad news, Rob Milkins is, the plant is on, it always was.
1.
So he's only trying to pot the black, really. I mean, even if he goes up the table, the plant was still there. It's not as if his concentration was divided particularly. Position was almost assured. Even if he pots one here, it's safe to say the balls have not been
8.
breaking as well tonight as they were for his first match, and in both of the first 2 matches, actually. It's not going well. This is tricky. Just.
9.
Well, 5 out of 5 for Hawkins from distance. This is a serious chance now. All the reds in play to land yet another blow on Milkins.
$50.
Just watching Milkins
16.
in the chair, it's absolute agony for him there. It's like he can't watch and he can't not watch.
$23. $24.
Well, we've had a few sort of false dawns, but really this is an absolutely gilt-edged opportunity this time.
31. $32.
So Barry Hawkins was out of the top 16 at the end of last season, didn't make it to the Crucible,
38.
but he's looking to reach his third semi-final of this season, having, of course, won a tournament. Also got to the semis in Belfast at the Northern Ireland Open. And has won a lot of
39.
other matches as well. Just last week in China, he got to the quarterfinals of the International Championship.
$45.
Well, that's not
46.
absolutely ideal. Yes, he can soft screw this to the middle and land behind the red, but it's a delicate little shot. It would be, you'd think, a frame winner, but he could lose a frame, or he would lose a frame, I think. He missed the pot here. Soft screw. Stayed down on it. He wasn't sure, but in it goes.
52. $53.
So Barry Hawkins firmly in control of this match. If he can just put this frame away
56.
now, it seems likely.
$58. $61.
It was Miss Black from Milkins that let him in. And it's cost him, it would seem, this frame. Brown is frame ball.
65.
Yeah, good clearances from Hawkins. He got the reds into play very early on and has controlled things really well, as he did for so much of the afternoon against Brissell.
70.
And as you say, the black that was missed, he was trying to hold for the red, and that's the last shot Rob Milkins has played in this frame.
76.
Well, frame 4 is a big one for him. He's got to win it, you feel, just for his own peace of mind. Never mind the scoreline. Because the scoreline is not looking good for him. It's an 83 clearance from Barry Hawkins, who ploughs on towards a place in the semi-finals, leading in Bolton 3-0. 3-0.
Thank you.
Milkins surely needs to win this frame
Frame 4.
to go to the
Rob
interval
Milkins,
feeling a
break.
bit happier, because, as I say, he's been going through agonies in that chair. Watching that last frame slip by with the 83 clearance from Barry Hawkins. He was in that chair before the cue ball had stopped rolling.
Oh, that's a very risky shot, and I'm afraid he's come unstuck there. You know, the first rule of those shots is to play thin off a ball. Don't push it into a potable position.
One.
See, he just caught too much of the red. The cue ball's fine. It's going into a safe area, but the red's
6.
no good to him. He had a really good win earlier today against Mark Williams. Not a player you can beat without playing somewhere near your best.
7.
But he's not in that form right now.
Whereas Hawkins, you can see growing in confidence, sensing a big chance to get this one pretty comprehensively this evening.
Thirty. $80.
Earlier on, we saw the pot success in the 70s for both. It's gone up for Milkins slightly, only slightly, but Hawkins now at 90%, which is where you would expect a player to be at this stage of a tournament.
But you know, he may actually be really
90.
lucky here if he can pop that up into the yellow pocket. There's no way it was that what he played. I mean, once he played the shot, he kind of erratically sort of swiped at it a couple of times. Like he's swatting a fly or something. Anyway, if this goes up into the yellow pocket, it doesn't matter about the previous shot. Maybe he feels it doesn't go. He might be playing in the middle, or certainly it wouldn't have been his first choice of shot. It's a very good shot though. This is where he is so good, Hawkins. Yes, he made a hash of the previous shot. Just shrugged it off and kept going.
25.
Prize money is very good for this champion of champions. 17,500 at this stage, having won a match already today, and the winner of this match has a minimum of 30,000 for being in the semi-finals. And it goes 60 for the run-up and 150,000 the winner. It's a big event on the calendar. Want to be there at the weekend if possible.
$33.
Yeah, I'm sure Barry's been watching it the last few years, wishing he was in it. He's not played in it for 5 years. And he's only ever won, before today, one match in it.
$38.
I think the break is coming to an abrupt end now. I mean, he might have a go at the blue, but does he really need to take a risk? Present Milkins with something? I think I'd keep him on that top cushion
Rainbow.
for a while, almost in the deep rough up there. That's what he's going to do. Make him earn anything to get back into the frame of the match.
39.
Yeah, because he knows that Milkins is not feeling good. He needs a kind of easy starter, and Hawkins is not going to give him that if he can help it. Green safe-ish as well with the lead he's got. Bit of security. Well, I think he's going from bad to worse for the Milkman, I'm afraid. Could well be 4-0 down when they return.
One.
These elite events, these
6.
one-table events, you know, they're pretty exposing if you're struggling. There's no sort of other tables going on as you get in some of the ranking events. Where audience attention is divided. Everyone's watching you and reminded of what a tough game this can be. Because a few hours ago he was playing well.
Seems to me that the
7.
second match in the day can affect players. Obviously, Mark Allen yesterday played ever so well, I thought. Against Ali Carter, he had a run on the ball, we know that, but that's not why he won so comfortably. He played superbly. Carter was on the end of a close
12.
match against, of all people, Mark Selby, who's so hard to beat. Didn't have a huge gap between matches. There is kind of
13.
similar in that Barry Hawkins was very quick to dispatch the world champion, Luca Bracel. So a nice break and he comes in. Hasn't played great, but he's certainly pretty efficient right now.
Yeah, he's just picking up the pieces, isn't he, that he's been offered. And he's been offered plenty as it's
90.
gone on. It started in frame 1. Milkins looked set to win it. Hawkins got the 2 snookers he needed, stole it.
20.
Clearly affected Milkins. Did have that chance in frame 3, missed the black on 45. Hawkins cleared, and in this frame, well, he's made so many errors. And again, Hawkins has taken advantage, and 2 snookers needed here. This red to make sure, and it will be for
26.
Hawkins today, 8 frames played, 8 frames won.
27.
Just underlining what a terrific season he's having. Remember, he's 4th on the one-year ranking list. Coming into the Champion of Champions, having won a tournament, gone deep in a few others as well. And he's justifying that status in this match.
33.
So Milkins, I'm sure, glad of the
Hawkins,
break, the
33
chance to have the
under
15 minutes just to get himself together, but he'll be in big trouble when the players return. As I say, it started in frame 1, it's got no better since then, and Barry Hawkins is 2 away from the semis, leading 4-0.
Business, Barry Hawkins hasn't dropped a frame today and is 2 away from his first appearance in a Champion of Champions semi-final. He's outplayed and outscored Rob Milkins tonight, just as he did against the world champion Luca Brissell this afternoon. Take a look at his stats. Tonight, he's on 90% long pot, 100% for tonight, 90% for the day. He's only missed one long pot, 9 from 10, 94% pot success in tonight's group final. I think it's fair to say, Ken Doherty and Stephen Hendry, that Barry Hawkins is in the zone.
He's in the zone, but we got back to the first frame. We'll see a few clips from it shortly. But the first frame really laid the foundation and set the precedent for this mini session. A terrible frame for Robert Milkins to lose. Great frame for Barry Hawkins to win. And I think if Milkins wins the first frame, it would have a different complexion on this match completely. The fact that he lost it from 2 snookers, almost an unassailable lead, his head has come off. And he has not. He's made error after error since then.
It must have been crushing, that first frame.
I mean, yeah, to lose a frame needing 1 snooker is bad enough, or your opponent needing 1 snooker, but 2. To be honest, he's very unlucky to miss this one here. There's not a lot of room for that cue ball to go around the back of the yellow. That's unlucky. This one, there's at least a couple of ways he could have played this, which is better than this. 2 cushions, 1 cushion. Try to judge it like a table and a half's distance with side. Very difficult to do, but this clears is incredible. But even Robert must have thought, okay, he's potted the green, but I still don't fancy him to clear up. Then a fabulous pot on the brown in the middle.
7.
And then this, all day when he's had his hand on the table, those shots have just been finding leather right in the middle of the pocket. And it was a stunning clearance, you have to say, because he didn't start as confidently as he started this afternoon against Luca Brissell. But you can see there that already, Robert Milkins looks like almost a beaten man. And this, I mean, that's not even hit the jaws, is it, Ken?
yeah, he's missed that. I mean, there's a few of the shots that he's almost walking back to the chair before the balls have stopped. But Barry's just come in and he sort of dished up the pieces. Really, he's played pretty well. He hasn't played as well as he did in the first match, but he hasn't had to. I mean, here's another. This is a cardinal error from Robert Milkins. That red should be nowhere near the middle pocket. It's just mistake after mistake, and Barry does what he does best.
Yeah, I mean, he's unbelievable. Last season, Robert Milkins to get in the top 16, winning those ranking events. But to be fair, he's not played like a top 16 player tonight. He's made some very, you have to say, almost amateurish mistakes. Some of the shots he's playing, and you can see that. There's almost like no thought or concentration. Everything's gone, and it all goes back, as Ken says, to that first frame.
Where's his head at then, and how do you come back from that? Is it
not
recoverable?
in the building?
Is it recoverable?
I don't think so. No, I mean, his body language is very bad. He's made, so many mistakes. I just got back to that first frame. If a little bit more due care and attention, that first frame, and this match will be completely different, because he needed a fast start. He needed that bit of confidence. But once he lost that first frame, his head just went, and the confidence just sapped out of his body.
And as far as Barry Hawkins is concerned, I mean, the break, he would quite like to have just played through, because he's on a roll. It must be a tremendous feeling, Stephen, to be in that kind of form and to be playing with such freedom and fluency.
Well, it's a lovely position to be when your opponent's not putting you under any pressure. It keeps on giving you chances. Every time you come to the table, there's either one hanging over the pocket or he's missed an easy shot. So after the first frame, it's been a very, very comfortable evening for Barry, and he's not been on what's his highest break. I'm trying to look. He's had a couple of 50s, so he's not scored like as this afternoon, but it's been just as easy.
Can he claw back at all?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
But you should come back and see if Barry Hawkins does indeed get over the line, or can the Milkman deliver when it matters most? We'll have the conclusion of this group final after the break. Robert Milkins has it all to do if he's to force his way back into this group final. Barry Hawkins is dominating this one and is just 2 frames away from his first semi-final at the Champion of Champions. To take us through to the conclusion, Alan McManus is alongside Phil Yates in the commentary box, but first here's Tahir Hajat to reintroduce the players.
Snooker fans, please welcome back into the arena Robert Milkins, Barry Hawkins and your referee, Desislava Bocilova.
There's a tendency in a best of 11 frame match to think the first frame is just a prelim. I
Thank
think
you.
in this one it might well be
Very
decisive
fine.
the way things are going.
Barry Hawkins to break.
But what I will say is that Rob Milkins can rattle off 2 or 3 frames quickly if he can find some inspiration, not without hope. It's a small amount of hope, but I think it does exist.
Yes, I can understand the boys in the studio saying that they feel there's no way back for Rob. Of course there is, but I understand what they're saying just because of his body language. Those last 2 or 3 frames, it's not been good at all. There's the other thing about it, he's playing against a guy who, A, is not going to take anything lightly, take his foot off the gas, and B, he doesn't worry about seeing the winning line. Business as usual. Quite a day for him, isn't it? 8-0 so far.
Hawkins knows from personal experience both sides of the coin as he plays a really good safety. That a 4-0 lead in a best of 11 is not any guarantee. In the recent international championship, he was 5-1 down to Tebcharo Nu, won 6-5. And years ago in the UK championship, he was 5-0 up against Nigel Bond, lost 6-5. So things can turn around occasionally.
One.
Yeah, it's rare that a best of 11 is almost, it feels so far anyway, that being dictated almost by one shot. That's not true, of course. There's an awful lot more than that, but that miss on the second snooker in frame 1 going round the back of the colour and bulk. Didn't see that one.
Barry Hawkins 1.
And because he hit the blue so badly, he collided with the brown, and that's why the cue ball stayed in bulk, luckily for Hawkins.
Oh, a thunderbolt.
1.
Click, click, thud. Music to the ears of any snooker player.
From distance, he's been terrific today. From middle distance, he's been dynamite. But not on that occasion. Again, what damage has he done?
4.
He's just shaking his head. He's not happy with it. To leave. One of those shots, it's blind, it's difficult. You've got to pick your spot and trust this. Shot. Oh, wow. Oh, my apologies. Well, if ever there was a good bad one, I think you could say that one was. That was beautifully struck. Just a few millimetres shy of pace.
One.
I just thought it was going to reach this bed of this table the last day and a half. In Grease lightning.
Three.
This is one of these awkward ones to reach, actually. Yeah, they did well. Ooh.
4.
Smile isn't because he's amused by what he sees.
Yeah, even though he potted the red, he caught it slightly too thick. That's why the cue ball didn't make the necessary journey.
Yeah, it did
Very
well to
hard,
reach
miss.
the shot in itself, but it was on the stretch, wasn't he? He just couldn't deliver 100% through the impact. You're going to play this, I think, with a lot of pace and almost try and arc the cue ball in between pink and those two reds up behind brown. Yeah, all in all, a good effort, that. Good shot. those reds, if you're right behind it, you'd fancy getting it, but that distance, I can understand why he's playing the red down the cushion, parking the cue ball in bulk.
Now, sooner or later, if Milkins is to have any aspirations, he has to start scoring. He made a 45 break in the third frame, which concluded when he badly missed a black off its spot. Has to get going.
One.
Couldn't do anything with the cue ball there,
Yellow
so
ball.
he will have to wait. But if he plays a good snooker here, he might not be waiting a great amount of time. No.
Rob Milkins. One. One.
There are lots of cliches in snooker, and the annoying thing about them is that a lot of them are true. One of which is that intervals change matches. I'm just wondering whether that's going to be the case here.
Could you please put the rubbers down? Thank you.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like a game of
6.
two halves, so it's another one, isn't it? But every best of 11's a game of two halves, but he's got some early encouragement here. A couple of misses from Barry.
7.
It's one of those situations where I often say
12.
the player in Rob's position, go and see if you can have fun for a couple of frames. Not so much throw your arm at everything, but just see if you can relax and try and
13.
enjoy playing snooker for, say, just a couple of frames. See where it takes you.
Eighteen. Nineteen.
Oh, just about scrambled in.
24.
Yeah, 16 and 4 blues
25.
will be 40 in front. So you're going to need one of the reds by the black. That's okay.
30.
10 4 blues, of course, you've got the pink setting that is on offer. Staying for
31.
blue, so he now is going to need one of the two reds.
36. $37.
Might just be eyeing up playing top side of this red. Maybe pot it and bring the reds into the open. Yeah, that's what he's trying. Trying to leave straight, just off straight on the high side. Cannon the reds into the
42.
open with the pink waiting.
$43. Robert Milkins, 43.
This is not a straightforward table, but that could still be a very costly miss.
One.
Yeah, Rob was in no mood for. He could have gone loose red pink for 41 in front with the two reds tight. He was in no mood for that. He wanted to win the frame in
8.
one hit. Now Barry, no problem with the red, no problem with the pink.
Nine.
Of course, 26 in front gives him some latitude to be able to play black.
$80. Hawkins, 80.
The green was always Milkins' safety net when it came to a clearance from Hawkins. Milkins 17 in front, so he needs green and brown. Tied frame this, and one he simply has to win. It's imperative.
Yeah, it's awkward bridging, but he'll certainly be taking the pot on. It's a natural back towards the brown.
In many respects, I think this is similar to last night's match. Yes, Barry Hawkins has been by far the superior player, as was Mark Allen last night, but he's also having a few rubs here and there. Nothing fortunate about that one. It was well executed, well conceived. Yeah, lovely shot by Rob. Now the easiest hit here is 3 cushions. Going the short way like that, where his cue is very difficult to hit it. Yes, it's side cushion, side cushion. Such a difficult hit, that. And points are of the essence because
But Milkins 4.
he obviously now pretty much, doesn't have to hit it, but just because of the scoreboard, I think 3 cushions would have been the play. It's the easier hit that way, more natural shot. So difficult to judge that kind of shot.
Well, no miss. Robert Milkins 4.
It's a funny rule, that, isn't it? It changed a number of years ago where you used to not be able to have a miss called now that the threshold has been met, i.e. 25 the difference. I'm actually not quite sure where I stand on that rule. Anyway, it's the correct call by Desislava.
Yeah, I think on balance I agree with the change to what it is now.
Yeah, so be no miss call this time. He's got to hit it somewhere in between the first 2. Good hit, but it should be first frame on the board for Robert Milkins.
Milkins 3.
2 snookers needed.
End of frame.
But on this occasion, Barry Hawkins says enough is enough. His unblemished record today has been punctuated. Rob Milkins back to only 4-1 behind. Can he come all the way back?
Where is Julian? Where is Julian? Yeah.
Robert Milkins
Thank you.
finally
Third
has
set.
something to
Robert Milkins.
be
Break.
cheery about. He has come back to win a match against Barry Hawkins in the past, not from a situation as precarious as this. The last time he beat Hawkins, in fact, it was in the last 32 of the German Masters in 2019. He was 4-3 down and won 5-4. This, a whole different kettle of fish, mind you.
One.
It's a fabulous pot. I mean, considering that it was not easy to get on the black at all. He had an easy push up and down safety shot.
Eight. Nine.
It's been such a good season so far for Hawkins. One of the reasons, his scoring power. We're still not at halfway in the campaign.
14.
He's had one match where he made 3 centuries and 5 others, including this afternoon, where he made 2. That's world class.
Glancing cannon off the thick part of the pack through the gap. And I went with pace. That was a wee bit of a surprise because it was always going to be a glancing blow that way.
21. Hawkins,
It's not
21.
like him to make that sort of safety mistake.
One. Six. Rob Milkins, 6.
I wonder if Rob might be tempted to be a bit more adventurous. All right, he may have a possible plant, but I was thinking more cue ball on the left wing of the table off this. Get some reds in the open. Yeah, that's what he's played. Good shot.
1.
Now he needs a big bounce for yellow. Not great. That's a good sign, actually, that he's tucking in, because
Rob Milkins, 1.
it tells us that he still thinks that he can tough this out and get the job done. Yes, it's a mammoth task. Of course it is. But if he'd given up in his heart of hearts, he would have taken the yellow on.
Hawkins came off 2 cushions there, attempting a thinner contact to take the cue ball back into baulk. That's one thing you notice watching Milkins over the course of a number of years. When he's stretching, that's when he's really vulnerable for me.
Now then, this is a chance to make a match of this. If Rob Milkins can put together a decent number and somehow get to 4-2, all of a sudden we've got a match on.
One. Seven. Eight.
Yeah, that's irritating when you land that straight in the blue. You can do nothing with the cue ball.
30.
What I was saying before, when he stretches, he can miss anything.
Milkins, 30. 1.
Much like the weather, it never rains, but it pours. 4-1 down, things aren't going well, and then your opponent does that.
Barry Hawkins 1.
But Hawkins off the boil.
He's not in any trouble at all. I mean, the red on the left, I thought he could easily have played off that cue ball onto this end cushion. Barry having a scan just to see if there's a possibility of a double or indeed a treble. Almost a Mark Selby shot. Treble on that famous maximum. I wouldn't think so. It's just having a look to see if it is a possibility.
Oh. Robert Milkins 5.
Yeah, in the end, he sort of didn't do anything. Obviously, it was an outside chance attempt at a double. Rob itching to play the red in the far right corner. Yeah, doesn't like it for obvious reasons. He's bound to leave one. It's a got to go shot if he plays it. Trouble is at the moment and most of the evening, not an awful lot has had to go and look about it. Sorry to say. Here we go then.
Don't silent, please.
Ken Doherty made the point in the interval. How often have we seen Milkins play shots where he walks away from the table in disgust as the balls are still rolling?
1. 6. Seven.
Just exuding disgust.
He just got himself in a kerfuffle there from the shot from
11.
blue to that red in bulk. So many options in front of him there, and he's ended up, well, barring something extraordinary, it's end of break again. Yeah, this time he did try the Mark Selby treble.
Barry Hawkins 11.
So bits and pieces all the way in this frame.
One.
Yeah, see now he might play, yeah, he's going to play the cannon red to the reds with black waiting.
6.
Got to get the correct contact. Any contact on that trio around the pink spot there.
7.
That's a poor shot. That is a poor shot, to be honest. I don't even think he's seen the shot. I mean, it was a nice target. The black's waiting. There was value.
Well,
This time he walks away from the table in disgust, even though he pots the blue. Totally misjudged cue ball.
Robert Milkins 12.
That little flick in the brown has left the red on.
One.
Hawkins always muster with that kind of shot, but look where the cue ball's finished. One of those frames, Alan, where the balls just will not cooperate.
Yeah, he's dreaming up a little sequence of shots here. Red along the cushion. It's quite a big pocket with the black. Where that black is, he's playing for it. Yeah, just a bit straight.
Barry Hawkins 4.
Yeah, just the fact he tried to obviously power the cue ball back into open play by way of in off the black. Almost potted it twice. Yeah, how did that not go in?
One.
as so many frames in professional snooker seem to be. It's all about the last
7.
red.
Robert Milkins, 7.
Yeah, they just won't accept at that pace. I know he missed it by the proverbial, but what's worse than that, he's left a pretty easy, well, pot to Deville, just about controlling the cue ball.
One.
And this time, he's perfect.
Four behind on arrival on the colours, so he
3.
needs down to the pink.
Five. Eight. Twelve. Seven.
Just enough of a gap between cue ball and object ball to make this perhaps missable. Right into the heart of the pocket, and with that, breathing space restored. Rob Milkins 1 frame away from defeat. Barry Hawkins leads 5-1. Zhang Anda just coming off that win in the International Championship, where the first prize was £175,000. He's come from nowhere into the
Frame
top
7,
16.
Barry Hawkins to break.
For a while this season, it looked as though Chris Wakelin might miss out as the shootout champion. But then those 3 consecutive victories for Judd Trump really did him a favour. I'm glad it did, because Chris deserves to be here, and at his best he can be devastating.
One.
He was entirely dominant this afternoon against the world champion. Tonight, not so. I think it would be unfair to call him unconvincing, but certainly the performance has been down a notch or two.
Flag. Barry Hawkins 1.
Good table knowledge by Barry.
One.
Yeah, just a shame about the plant as it thunders in. Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to say in between
Rob Milkins
this frame
1.
and the last, he was kind of slumped in his chair, giving off vibes that my race is run, folks. I'm not saying it totally is, but that was the vibe I was getting, must confess. And I hate saying it about any top snooker player. He looks pretty forlorn there in the chair.
Hawkins, though, continues to miss. His pot success rate for the match now dipping below 90%, in total contrast to this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's the case at the moment with Robbie. Looks like his race is well and truly run.
One.
Dominic Dale, twice a world ranking event winner, knows an awful lot
7.
about this game. He is convinced that Barry Hawkins is the best player in the game with the rest. Now, I don't agree with that, but he's certainly one of the best, and he's
8.
shown that again today. On many occasions, knocked in really good balls. You see, in this match, he's knocked in 14 out of 15.
Yeah, he's brilliant with it, as he is at most disciplines in
15.
snooker. Hasn't been this evening.
Yeah, missed one pot all day with the rest out of 20 attempts.
Yeah, but what he is also, Barry, he's as technically correct almost as any other player in the game.
$21.
Everything about him, the stance, the balance, weight distribution, head position, his left elbow is perpendicular on the shot. Everything, all those things that you would try to teach a junior player, he's got. That elbow pointing at the sky. Yeah. It goes wrong again, though. It's been the story, isn't it, strangely?
Barry Hawkins, 21.
Well, we lavish praise on players most of the time, so I think we are duty bound to also say it as it is. And I think tonight's match has been, for both of these two, very disappointing.
One. Four.
He knew nothing about this red going through the gap. So that's twice in a couple of, well, a few
5.
shots he's been quite fortunate. Good pot, the initial one, to be fair.
$11. 12.
Of course, comebacks for Rob Milkins are nothing new. That one back at the Crucible against Joe Perry
90.
was one of the best comebacks of all time in this game.
20.
Yes, it's a long way back, but he just got to, just play for the sake of playing. Just try as you can. Just try and get your head in a decent place. Try and stay in the present for at least a few shots. Just never know, because these guys are capable of extraordinary things on snooker tables. If something
26.
clicks, as Phil said earlier, more than capable of reeling off 2 or 3 frames in jig
27.
time.
Yeah, that's the big thing going for Milkins here, if there is such a thing as being optimistic. He can win frames rapidly. If he was a grinder, I wouldn't give him any chance whatsoever. But he can, as they say, catch a gear.
Yeah, it's the way you've got to roll as a snooker player. Never give in, ever. It might only happen once in your career, winning from the position he finds himself, 5-1 behind. But tonight might be the night, but it won't be if you chuck it. I'm not saying he has, far from it. But you've got to stay in there. You've got to hang in there as long as you can.
42. Forty-three.
4 words. Make him earn it.
$49. 50.
Already his highest break of the match, and now this is frame
57.
ball.
58. $64. 65. 72. 74. 77. 81. 81 and the frame.
Much better from Robert Milkins. Will the Robert revival continue? We'll find out after the break.
Thank you. Frame 8. Robert Milkins to break.
Off we go with frame 8. Robert Milkins trying to stay alive. Barry Hawkins trying to put a lid on this. He finished off the match against Luca Brazil this afternoon superbly with a break of 108, did Hawkins. He would love something similar here.
Yeah, no sport in snooker especially doesn't quite work this way, but he actually should be in front at the moment, all things being equal. First frame, he definitely should have won. In the last frame, he certainly could have, no problem. See, I know it doesn't work that way. It swings and roundabouts and all that, this game, you know, the way matches evolve, but he's still in this. You just got to keep believing. It's very, very difficult. It's incredibly difficult to keep the belief. It's part of your job. Barry has got eyes on this plant here, the plant at the pink spot. It must be a good thing. Yes, it's an absolute certainty. Because he can hang the pace off it for blue or baulk colour if he wishes. Oh, he got the wrong cannon, but he's on the black. And he knew nothing of it.
When it comes to dissecting a match, quite often we talk about the odd fluke or a very lucky snooker. But I think at this level, if you have fortune with your position and you're a scorer like Hawkins, that is gold dust.
$50. $16.
Yeah, flukes at this level feel big. Obviously, it was a fluke positional shot. Flukes feel bigger at this level because of the class of the player in question.
22.
Some flukes you feel like they're worth 80 or 90. This one could be. It's a long way from that just yet.
23.
You know, if you're no good and you can't play, then flukes don't mean anything.
$28. $29.
I know David Hendon made the point earlier, but I'll reiterate. Last season, Barry Hawkins made 23 centuries in professional competition. Decent. This season already, he's made 21. His scoring is really sharp. It was at the European Masters, and it's continued. His triumph in that event has given him that extra layer of confidence.
37.
Yeah, the plan's in place. It's screw off the pack and just get the cue ball spitting back towards him. 12 or 18 inches. It's a wee bit too much. Got one certainly to left middle.
44.
Seems quite happy. So this, if it goes to plan, would be the last obstacle, you would think. Watch how he finishes the shot, Barry Hawkins. I think he's the best there is by a distance. Watch how he stays down with this. See that? All the way. Every single shot.
45.
And it's non-negotiable. It's brilliant the way he does it. Regardless if he's playing well, playing poorly. It's the way he plays. Always. Watch it again here. See that? Brilliant.
$47.
You even see it here again. He'll wait till the red disappears. Yeah.
48.
So, good positional shot, basically playing for a low pink off the spot.
$52. $53. $60.
Being as we're in Lancashire, I'll use a Bumble ism, the great cricket commentator. Start the car.
$61.
Yeah, if this black goes in, the ignition will be turning, I think, Phil. That should be more than enough, and he's perfect on the red. So
68.
job done in the end. It hasn't been a vintage performance, but
69.
in some ways it's more important to win when you're playing not at your best, because your best takes care of itself. When Barry Hawkins plays anything like his best, he'll win 8 or 9 times out of 10.
76. $77.
He's won his last 4 meetings with Milkins. 6-3, 5-0, 4-1, and now 6-2.
$83.
A very productive season for Barry Hawkins. Has just got a little bit better. He's into the semi-finals of the Champion of Champions, defeating a below par Robert Milkins 6-2. Hawkins was the better player, not at his best, but winning that first frame after needing 2 snookers really set the pattern. From there, Milkins was struggling.